Hey fellow patriots, welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. I hope this finds you all healthy, safe, and you're continuing to take steps to better your preparedness efforts. The time is now, and I do believe in the coming days your access to certain resources is going to grow slimmer. So in this video I want to continue on from the last video. Thanks to everyone who watched that video and gave us a thumbs up and left comments. Much appreciated. We're trying to get you quality information out as needed and cut through the fear porn that is out there. So first thing I want to share with you is there has been a series of alerts being sent out from multiple 3-letter and a 4-letter agency within the United States, and these alerts are being sent to community leaders across the country who are tied in for receiving information and alerts as these agencies and departments send them forward. In these alerts, leaders around the country are being advised they need to start alerting citizens in their communities to prepare, putting back food and water, and taking precautions in their daily life because of threats on the homeland. Additionally, they're recommending that churches and businesses fortify their locations from these particular threats. One 3-letter agency has also sent an alert out, which is fairly common if you do a little research, but they're advising everyone that there are numerous threats from numerous terrorist cells that are within our country today. It's fairly common that knowledge that the last 10 to 15 years they have been penetrating the border and coming in via different mechanisms and locating as sleepers around the country. Some have been here as many as 10, 20 years, and they're simply waiting on the call to go into action. There are numerous types of threats that we always want to stay in tune with, because it could be a natural or man-made type event that could occur on a moment's notice. And while you're waiting on one particular threat to potentially raise its ugly head, you could also face a natural disaster. We are going into winter, weather's changing, temperatures are dropping, so you always need to keep your mindset open to all these different possibilities depending where you are in the country. One thing that I've continued to notice in person and also hearing others speak of them are people like us with common interest are having meltdowns. The stress level is getting to them, and they simply are not handling the news that is transpiring. They're not able to process it, keep their feet grounded, and they're simply melting down. You need to keep your eyes and your ears open for these things. There's a lot of censorship that is taking place around our borders, blackouts of information flow to what is going on to our north. There's a lot of things transpiring north of us, and a lot of people are stepping up to counter mandates and laws that they're trying to enforce on the populace. So when we talk about these threats, as I teach in classes, I've written about them on the website. I discuss them a bit in both of my books. In the mindset, putting yourself outside the box, staying left of bang. Okay, and if you're familiar with my blue circles where I talk about layered security and setting up security in depth around your home and places you go, places you shop, maybe restaurants you eat at, when you're driving or when you're on foot, maybe shopping or somewhere, is establishing these imaginary security in depth boundaries. Okay, personally I like to use the stoplight chart. I have a green area, which is go. I have a yellow stoplight, which is proceed with caution, and then I have a red light, which is critical for me. Okay. So what I'm talking about is, say for example, I'm in a store, I'm in a group of people surrounding. I like to keep people at least, if I can, 21 feet away from me. That would be my green light area, if possible. Folks who are within 21 feet to me, my proximity, that's my yellow light area. And the yellow light area is caution. And then I have my 3-foot area, basically within 3 feet of my body. That's the red light area. And personally, unless it's a trusted agent who I trust with my life, would I allow them to get within 3 feet of me. I want to be able to gauge my 5 Ds of security in everything, and within the 3 feet I want to try to keep a arm's length away from me, and at that 3-foot level, 3-foot distance is I want to be able to deploy any measures that I have for myself, whether you're using lethal or non-lethal protection. It may be your hands, it may be a device of your choice that the situation may drive you to deciding to use. It all depends on each situation, and each situation is different. However, the distances that you want to have around you for that security in depth is up to you. So when you have someone within 21 feet or you have them within 3 feet, while you are physically in a position, you also want to be thinking mentally as to your proximity, where you're at. Do you have any cover and concealment around you if you would need it? And communicating with the other person or the other individuals. You want to continue the dialogue to keep the conversation moving, and while the conversation is moving, I personally will inject a question or something maybe humorous to see what kind of response I get, to see if it lightens the approach being used by the individual or individuals, or if they get agitated with maybe what I ask, trying to lighten the situation. And if they stay intense, it's an indicator to me that they are a threat or a high risk of a threat. Okay? What I'm trying to do is, my goal is to live another day. And in all cases, unless there's an immediate threat, the individual is showing me that threat, I'm trying to continue dialogue to bring down the threat if possible. But while I'm communicating, I'm putting myself in a defensive posture to where if I have to use lethal or non-lethal, I can do so. And if at all possible, I'm trying to disengage and extract out of the circumstance. Okay? Lethal and non-lethal, I only want to have to choose as a last resort to defend myself or defend my family or a friend who may be with me, and a threat is near that 3-foot range, or they're coming from the 21-foot range towards my 3-foot range. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so if you are out and about, some things you should consider if you're driving. Would strongly encourage you to not get pinned in traffic. Always leave yourself some room to maneuver your vehicle to get out of a predicament blocked in. If highways are blocked with protesters or rioters, you want to be able to maneuver to get out of the situation. It's a little harder with a vehicle, but give yourself room to do so. And if you would need to get out of your vehicle and run, be looking around for a direction that you can go in a safe manner to get cover and concealment. If you're going out to eat in a restaurant, you want to pick your locations wisely. When you go in to be seated, try to get as far away from the door as you can. Always sit where you can see the front of the place, any windows that you can see out if a threat is potentially coming by windows coming for the door. You always want to be looking around for a secondary exit out of the restaurant if you can. Where are the waiters and the service workers coming out of carrying food? There's probably a back door in the back area. When you park in the parking lot, look around to see if you see secondary doors to give you a clue as to what direction inside you would need to run to get out. Notice in the parking lot any areas that may possibly you could use for cover and concealment to get to your vehicle. How easy it would be, maybe how you park so you don't have to back up to get out, maybe back into a parking slot so you can pull out directly. If you can, check to see if the table is mounted to the floor or if it's free. If you would need to pick up the table and use it as a shield to hide behind or maneuver it for cover or concealment until you can make a run for it. And if you're out in shopping areas such as a mall and places like that, I would strongly encourage you to be looking for secondary exits to get out of a place if some type of event would break out in the facility. Even if you're in a mall and stores, typically there is a back door at a loading dock, and if you can, just make a mental note to these locations. If you go to church, no secondary ways out of the church. Maybe a side door in to the sanctuary to where you could exit it, but you need to know, if you can, where it's going to take you to. Okay? Always remember, whether it's a mall, a grocery store, a church, any of these places where parking lots, always remember, if you're running from a threat, there could be secondary threats waiting in the parking lot. So you need to be vigilant all the way until you're totally extracted out of the event. Okay? So it's basically keeping your mind working at all times. Regardless of your age, these are all steps that you can take and have your mind mentally working to keep you as a hard target, not a soft target, left to bang, and thinking outside the box. Got it? Okay. I know this is new for a lot of you. You day to day, typically in your life, you have not had to endure situations like this. Maybe some of you have, but we are living in a different world now. Times have changed. We are now being told by authorities there are threats all around us, and the threats that are around us are not the only threats that we may be faced with. As I shared in the last video, my concern is not just with the threats that's out there, it is the impact these threats could have on our supply chain, our trucking into smaller areas, getting food, fuel, and pharmaceuticals into the populace. And as we know, stores are, businesses are stocked for a 72-hour or 3-day supply. And if you have folks who start fleeing our cities and going into these remote and rural areas, the stock that's available is going to deplete very, very fast. So what that's saying to you is that 3 days of supply may be gone in a day. It is stocked. They're stocked for normal shopping from the populace in the area. Statistically, how much do they normally buy? And if people start binge buying, and then you add in 50% more population coming from other areas that are tapping into those supplies, it's going to go much, much faster. So if you haven't already, and hopefully this does not apply to any of you because the writing has been on the wall for some time now, you need to keep your shelves stocked. You need to keep your supplies for at a minimum, a bare minimum of 6 months. And I would even encourage you to try and stock for up to 1 year or more. Keep your fuels topped off. Keep your medicine stocked. Keep your protection in place. Again, you want to apply the blue circle of security in depth with all of your personal measures. If someone comes to your door, you need to have measures in place for those occasions, whether it's a friend or foe. You need to know who's on the other side of that door before you open it. Okay? The threats that are being advertised by the powers above, having worked in these areas in my past life, and you over the last 20 years on videos that as recent as the conflict that's going on in the Middle East, they're ruthless. Okay, they have no respect for your way of life. They hate you because of your likely faith, and they want to exterminate you. So while you have that threat looming, if supplies start dwindling, you're going to have another threat around you, which I've shared with you in other videos and in other Hope for Survival platforms. And that is people around you who are not prepared, and when the food runs out and starvation starts, you're going to have a big problem around you. And this is why we've encouraged community building, all right, for many reasons. Okay, one is, a big reason is for security. Another reason is to have a community that looks out for each other, folks who are checking on our seniors where you can help them, and this all contributes to a baseline knowledge of your security in depth and who and what you have around you. All right. If you build a strong, close-in security area around you, say in your neighborhood, in your community, of people that you trust and you can rely on to help one another out, this also helps eliminate the fear of people next door to you getting into that position of having starving children. Okay, it's a lot of work. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes communication skills, how you go about it, how you approach it with those around you. If you go to them with the appearance that you're paranoid, you're going to lose them quickly. Okay, confidence in what you're saying, confidence in what you're suggesting and what you're doing will go a long way. Okay, it will help you tremendously versus coming across as a paranoid dictator to others. Okay, you're simply trying to build a self-reliant community so you can sustain during natural disasters, man-made disasters, and things of this nature. Remember, if there is some form of a major disaster, all of our entities that typically citizens rely on for protection and response, they're going to be focused on critical infrastructure, securing it, reestablishing it, and so forth. Okay, and that is if there's still workers available. Depending on the intensity of the event and the disaster, you may, in rural areas and small towns, you may see workers who work for a city or a town decide they're going to stay home with their family, okay, and help them. So this is where, again, your community and your self-reliance as a community is going to give you great dividends and increase your percentage of surviving, okay, and taking care of each other. All right, so with all the doom and gloom that's out there, each of us, we must stay grounded, and we must step up and be leaders. You're going to have a better chance of people listening to you if you have your act together. All right, and winning them over. Okay, that's the big ticket, is winning them over so that they will do the things that you're suggesting that they do, like stocking some extra food, water, locking their doors, okay, and so forth. It's a whole new environment here in America. You see it on TV, you see it in the news, but it's somewhere else. Okay, now we're being told that it is here, it's coming here. We've got major problems throughout our government and our system right now. A laundry list of items. We have divisions within groups of people in our country. We basically have so many items that we basically have a potential fire waiting to erupt. And the question is, if it does erupt, how is there an ability to maintain that fire, or is the fire just going to burn out of control and expand? All right. No one's asking you to go fight these fires. We're simply suggesting to you to take steps to build a self-reliant policy, a self-reliant package within your home and within your community to self-sustain for a duration that is unknown. All right. If the power went out for an extended period of time going into winter, do you have the ability to stay warm? Do you have the ability to heat water? Do you have the ability to cook food? Okay. If you don't, the clock's ticking. All right. If we had a major disaster in our country, how much of our military is going to be available to respond to these large events and these large disasters, to control and to help people when we have so many military that are deployed, and they're being deployed more today. All right, this is basically a citizen step up and be responsible to take care of your community and of your family, to defend your areas if you have to, and so forth. So give this some thought. Do what you need to be doing. Again, get your faith right. If you're not a person of faith, you may want to consider it. If you have questions, please reach out. You can reach me at preparedness101@protonmail.com. If you need checklists and information on preparing, you can go to our website at www.hopeforsurvival.com. There's 111, now 112 videos here on everything from canning chicken to building a security posture, building a PACE plan for family communications, and so forth. There's so much information, I can't fit it into one video. Okay, but you need to do some research, ask questions, don't reinvent the wheel. Many of us have been doing this for a while, and we can point you in the right direction. But the worst thing you can do is to break out your Twinkies and sit on the sofa and cry. Okay, the time for crying, the time for fear is behind us. All right, it's going to take everyone working together in a positive manner with leaders, workers, and folks not trying to impress others by how much they know, and so forth. You may not always agree with someone that's leading, but if it's not threatening your life, get in the boat and row in the same direction. Okay? The time for debate and discussion and working around a table is quickly dissolving, and now it's time for everyone to step up to the plate. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please consider doing so. Reach up and hit subscribe. If you like this information, hit the like button, leave a comment if you wish, and we much appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe, keep working hard, think positive, don't have fear, okay, and make every hour of your life count of moving you in a positive direction, okay? And don't forget, check on those around you who may be senior citizens, who may need some effort from you and your community to help them out. We're all in this together, all right? So be blessed. Bravo Echo out.